turn to my friend and ranking member, Senator Reid.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And Mr. Tata, Ms. Sutton, welcome to you and to your families. I'd also like to thank Senator Tillis, Senator Rounds, and Senator Sullivan for their introductions. Thank you. Mr. Tata, you have been nominated to be the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. If confirmed, you would be responsible for all personnel matters in the Department of Defense, including military family and child care programs, family and financial readiness, the DoD school system, and working with the military services to ensure the health and welfare of the force. Mr. Tata, you were nominated 5 years ago for a position of similar importance in the Department of Defense. However, the committee considered your nomination carefully and on a bipartisan basis declined to even bring your nomination to a vote in the committee. President Trump ultimately withdrew your nomination. And I fail to understand why you would now be qualified to oversee millions of service members and their families as the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. As I told Secretary Hexteth and Mr. Lohmeyer at the nomination hearings, I respect and appreciate your military service, but your record of public statements and behavior towards individuals with whom you disagree politically is, I believe, disqualifying for a position of this significance. Mr. Tata, your history of controversial and divisive statements is well documented. Prior to your last nomination, you publicly called President Obama, the Commander-in-Chief, quote, a terrorist leader, and said that then CIA Director John Brennan deserved to be executed. More recently, you claim that there are, quote, mutinous discussions within military ranks to sabotage President Trump, and you call for a complete purge of Pentagon leadership, including firing all four-star general officers and senior career civilian employees. This gives me concern that you have a misguided, biased view of the military and civilian workforces you would oversee. Our service members and their families, and the civilian employees who support them, come from all backgrounds and political persuasions. They come from every state and territory in the Union. If confirmed, you would need to serve all members of the Department of Defense and their families, not just those who you agree with politically. Your public record and past performance in the Pentagon do not inspire confidence in this regard. I would ask that you explain why service members and civilians who do not share your political opinions can trust that they will not be targeted under your tenure. Similarly, after being pressured by Elon Musk and the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, Secretary Hexteth recently announced a plan to fire 8% of the entire defense workforce, as many as 75,000 workers across the country. Mr. Tata, if confirmed, you will be responsible for managing the fallout from these personnel cuts. At a time when we face unprecedented threats from China, Russia, and other adversaries, you will need to find a way to balance these reductions while also ensuring the department has the resources it needs to adequately support service members and their families. I hope you can explain to this committee how you intend to resolve these contradictory demands while ensuring the Department of Defense accomplishes its mission. Ms. Sutton, I welcome your nomination to be Assistant Secretary of Defense for Cyber Policy. If confirmed, you would be the second individual to hold this position, as it was created in the fiscal year 2023 National Defense Authorization Act. You are well qualified for the role, given your extensive experience with U.S. Cyber Command as a professional staff member of this committee and as an engineer at Sandia National Laboratories. When the committee created the ASD for cyber policy, we intended for this position to provide service secretary-like functions for U.S. Cyber Command, mirroring the current relationship that exists between Special Operations Command and the ASD for Special Operations and Low-Intensity Conflict. If confirmed, it will be important for your office to not only support Cybercom's growth, but also to maintain strong civilian control and oversight of the command. I would like to know how you plan to work with Cybercom and the Department of Defense broadly to better support the cyber workforce and improve cyber acquisition functions, including your objectives following completion of the ongoing Cybercom 2.0 review. I would note that I'm extremely concerned by President Trump's recent dismissal of General Timothy Hawk, who served as the commander of Cybercom and director of the National Security Agency. The administration has given no explanation for his firing, but press reports indicate that Laura Loomer, a fringe conspiracy theorist convinced the president to dismiss General Hawk and fire a slew of expert staff on the National Security Council for no discernible reason. The administration has not selected a new Cybercom commander, and it's unclear if there's any sense of urgency to fill this position. Ms. Sutton, if confirmed, you will need to be a strong partner for the new Cybercom commander, whomever they may be, and assist with improving their authorities within the department. And I would like to know how you plan to address these challenges. Thank you again to our nominees, and I look forward to your testimonies. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.